I was at a local music festival a few weeks ago and I met Austin Powers. Well, when I say Austin Powers, an Austin Powers impersonator, and I just had to paint his picture. So let's get into it. My daughter and I played at a local music festival a few weeks ago with a compere that was an Austin Powers impersonator. Here he is. We had a lot of fun. We played a lot of Irish music and I just had to paint this guy. I wanted to paint this in Procreate and I wanted to use a roller brush the same way as I do. If you've watched any of my Art Rage videos, you'll know that if I'm doing an oil painting, I use the roller brush to get a colour over the whole of the canvas. So I was looking through the brush sets in Procreate and I was looking in the painting set and I came across one called Nico Roll, which sort of was a little bit like a roller, and I thought, oh yeah, I like this, I'm going to use this. And I started just sort of rolling in the colours, and I knew it was going to be a bit psychedelic because, you know, it's Austin Powers, groovy man and all that. So I wanted it to be a bit flower powery. And I got the guy, Austin. I never did find out his real name. I just called him Austin all afternoon. I got him to stand next to this post with some flowers around it. Took that photo with me phone. No special cameras or anything. And then I used that for the basis of the painting. And you'll see now I'm painting in these flowers. And I started to use this Nico Roll brush. I thought, oh, I really like that. I love this delicate effect that I'm getting. And when I started it, I truly intended to use this brush just to get the base colours on. But I started to experiment with it. And it ended up that I finished the complete painting using this Nico Roll brush that's in the painting category. I used it for everything. I didn't use any other brush whatsoever, just this one brush. And I just changed the size of it and the opacity of it, and that's all. I didn't go into any of the other brush settings. All the colours I selected myself off the colour wheel. I didn't sample the painting, the photograph or anything like that. And I love this sort of psychedelic effect it was getting and this sort of abstract impressionist feel to the whole thing. And I was thinking, I'm really going to give it a go. I didn't know if I could do the face with it. At the minute, I've just got the face roughed in. You can see it's a bit flat and squashed up. His jaw looks like I've taken a wood plane and shaved the bottom of his jaw off at the minute. So it's all right. I mean, a lot of my paintings look like that. Portraits look like that when I start. I just get a rough idea, and I am very much aware that it's wrong. But in this case, I wanted to get all these colours in his shirt in. That's what I was really interested in, and it was a good. He really looked like Austin Powers, but unfortunately, when he did his stage bit, when he introduced everybody, I was expecting him to come up and go, groovy baby, yeah, come on, let's hear it for such and such, and do this total Austin Powers. And if he'd have got the music, playing in the background, it would have been great. But he didn't. He just came up and talked in his normal accent, which was a shame. He needs to work on it. If you ever watch this video, man, Austin, work on the impression as well, because when he was off stage, he was doing it all the time. And it was really funny. But when he got on the stage, he just reverted to his normal self, which I thought was a bit strange. But it was really good, and he promoted the charity really well and everything. So it was a brilliant day. Anyway, back to the painting. So I'm using this one brush. You can see now, although I'm working on the mouth, his jaw and everything is all wrong. His nose is wrong. I've got a little bit of work to do. I've tried using one of these methods. I can't remember what it was called now. I've got a video, the Loomis method. I used the Loomis method. And to be honest with you, it's kind of counterintuitive to the way I work. I just like putting in these rough shapes and moulding it like plasticine, really, and pushing it and just using the paint to sort of keep working over it and painting it until I get the likeness, and I'm sort of whittling away a bit like a woodcutter, although I can stick bits on as well as cut bits off, until I get what I want. So although the Loomis method that I tried worked really well, I felt that I like doing the portraits the way that I do, which is unique to me, which is where I just sort of crash a lot of colour on, get a rough shape, and then just keep working it until I get to it looks like the subject, or reasonably like the subject that I want. So I guess if I'm sketching, it's different. When I'm painting, I think I'll be sticking to the my trust and tried method of just roughing it in, although I am paying a lot more attention to the actual shapes when I rough them in now than I used to. I have to say, one thing about this painting is when I painted his face, I was kind of looking at the colours on the photograph and getting the face to match those, and it just looked like I'd cut the face out and stuck it on the rest of the background. So now you can see I've added some greens to the left side of his face as we look at it, and yellows and oranges under his chin to sort of reflect the light off the surrounding area onto him. And as soon as I did that, his face looked like it belonged in the painting. But while I was just sort of going off the colours off the photograph, it looked really, really false, and it just wasn't happening at all. So it was by just putting those colours in that made an absolute difference to his face, and it made it look like part of the painting and not another layer stuck on. I can't begin to tell you how impressed I was with this one brush. I'm going to use it again, and I want to use it on a landscape. I think it would be really cool. You could do some really nice foliage on the trees and bushes and things and stuff of that nature. And I think it's going to work really well for that. So I'm going to be doing a landscape painting with this brush just to see how it comes out. I have used it on another portrait actually, but with other brushes out of that same painting set. So that's one that's coming up in about a week or so after this one's released. I painted that. I finished it this morning, actually. I was really pleased with that. Anyway, back to this. So I'm just sort of working away. And it is really a versatile brush because you can make it really small to do sort of fine detail line work with it. The glasses, I kept changing them and sort of covering them up with skin tones and things, and sort of masking them out so you could see bits of the glasses in some instances. Then I painted them in again, and I really struggled with how I wanted to finish them off. I didn't know if I wanted them to be really defined glasses on the whole of the painting, or did I want them to be sort of an inch of a glasses frame in odd places. The eyes I got a little bit wide there. You can see I'm sort of narrowing them off again because when I put the detail in the eyes, I sort of zoomed in and then on the photograph and actually made the eyes quite wide, and you can see they're a little bit wide, and I think I knocked that back a bit. Putting in some real darks under the nostrils and in the corners of the mouth. That I felt that was quite important. Working on the eyes, they took me quite a while to get just right. It just wasn't working. It had to sort of leave it, walk away, leave it, come back to it. In the end, I was really pleased with what I came up with. There we go. I've narrowed the eyes there. Adding some sort of quite shocking pink tones in the skin. I felt it needed that just to sort of lift the face out of the rest of the painting because of all of the strong colours that I got going off in there. So I'm getting really close to the end of the painting now. I'm just adding the final touches to the face, putting in a few highlights here and there, picking out bits of colour from the background and adding that as a reflection of the shadow reflection onto his face here and there. Still fiddling with them glasses, driving me mad right to the end of the painting. But there we go. I'm getting so close. Just tweaking that highlight on the left side of his face that you look at it. And there we go. That is my finished painting of Austin Powers using nothing other than the Nico rule brush. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, big thumbs up as always is much appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing because I've got lots of videos like this and I would love to be sharing them with you. So hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.